What's up, fam? We are here live, Fundamental Conversations, episode 2. And today we have a very powerful conversation with a very powerful person. I got my sister, Uptown's own, Naima Silver, here today. Naima,
Wepa.
what's up? What's up, Naima? What's up?
We're here, we're here.
Tell the people a little bit about yourself, your story, where you're
Sure.
from, and what you're getting into.
Bueno, yo soy Naima. How do you want me to answer this? Like a really,
Now, yo, listen, we Uptown. This is
we're Uptown.
Spanglish.
All
Well,
right,
however
so,
you want to answer it, I'll follow you.
okay, mi gente, listen up. So my name is Naima. I'm from Dykeman, grew up here, Uptown. This is home. Went to 52, G-Dubs, transferred over to the High School for Environmental Studies. Then I went away to Syracuse University. So that's the educational background. I got my bachelor's from SU. And, like a lot of us, I can say that you let me know if you had the same understanding. But growing up, my understanding was that we had to get out the hood, right? You got to get out the hood. You got to do whatever you got to do to get out the hood. And there was three ways to do it. You either go to the streets, you either get pregnant, or you stay in school and you follow that path, right? What they set for us. And so, I chose that path, the education path. And once I graduated from Syracuse, I came back. When I got back from Syracuse, I realized that the goal is not to leave the hood. The goal is to give back to the hood. Is
Tell
to
them.
bring back what we learned over there and to make things better in our community. So as soon as I came back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like we need to be organizing like this and we need to do this type of programming. So as soon as I came back, organizing literacy programs with Literacy Incorporated. Started a program called El Reading Lobby, where we literally brought families together to read in the lobbies of the building and trying to, encourage and develop that love for literacy because that is important, period, for progress and just to be able to flourish, so teaching and promoting literacy. Then at some point, develop after school programming, tutoring programming. And it's basically my mindset is just problem solving. So when, I realized that our kids and our parents and our families just needed more support in terms of programs, I'm like, okay, I may not have the money for it, but I have skills and resource. I'm resourceful. I may not have the
Yes.
resources, but I'm resourceful,
Yes, listen, yeah, yo, listen. First and foremost, we have a lot of commonalities. I went to SUNY Cortland, which is
Uh-huh.
only 20 minutes away from Syracuse.
Uh-huh.
I got a bachelor's and two master's degrees, but I'm also a product of George Washington High School. Washington Heights, we're here.
Okay, okay, okay.
And with all that you're talking about, Naima,
Yes.
like not having the money, but always being resourceful. I think that a lot of people in our community have a scarcity mindset
Mm,
where you need to have money in order to do something.
yes.
And my biggest thing is that I believe that humans are the biggest resource.
Right.
Connecting to people are the biggest resource.
Correct.
You've been somebody who's always been empowering and done things. So where did that solution-based mindset come from for you?
Mm, that's a good question. I think maybe it's just the cards I was dealt in life. Um, I had to focus on solutions in order to even get out in the first place. I had to focus on execution. I had to be disciplined. I had to uh, eliminate distractions and I had to figure things out for myself because I'm the oldest. So I'm the one that had to learn how to navigate the American system here. I'm, taught myself English. I had to teach myself to read English because my teachers literally said, "Oh, just read it how you see it." And it's like, "Well, I don't know how to I'm learning English. I don't know how to read in English." So I would read in Spanish until I could learn how to read in English, okay?
I think that that's something that happens to us all first and second generation immigrants, and that's what fundamental works is about right here. We want to empower the 9 to 5 community. We want to empower the immigrant community. So you talk about learning the system.
Right.
Now you're somebody who's running for a very powerful position in the
Yes.
system
Yes.
to try to support other people to learn about the system. So
Correct.
tell a little bit about the people. Tell the people a little bit about what you're running for and what they should be looking for.
Sure, sure. So, mi gente, I am running to be the next New York State Senator of Uptown and the Bronx. Yes, Washington Heights, Inwood, Marble Hill. It covers Fordham, University, Kingsbridge, Sedgwick, Jerome Avenue. It goes up also towards Van Cortlandt Park South, Aqueduct Avenue, anything that is like before Grand Concourse. So we even cover the area of where Leaving College is at. So I'm running for New York State Senator, and maybe some people are like, okay, well, what is a senator? Well, a senator, similar to other positions, what they do is the following. Number one, they create laws, right? They propose bills that become laws that impact our lives. And I can get into that a little bit later, like why should people care about politics? So a senator passes laws. A senator also negotiates the budget in the state of New York. Number three, a senator also provides oversight to state agencies, which is one of the things I'm looking forward to so much because, for example, a senator can provide oversight to ACS, right? Can provide oversight to the Department of Education, the Department of Mental Health and Hygiene. And so what's
Yes.
happening is that I have been on the ground, grassroots for real. Like I'm from the trenches for real when it comes to working with the people. Like guys, what I've been doing over the past 15 years, and this is on my own time on a volunteer basis, not even getting paid for it. But if you would have asked me what was my hobby in these past 10 years, my hobby is community service and helping people, right? And so in all this time, I've gathered a collection of understanding of what our needs are, what the issues are from the perspective of the people, but also from the perspective of when the people meet the systems, what works, what falls through the cracks. So when our families are going to family court, what's falling through the cracks? What are people not understanding when they're there? How is it that they're not understanding how the system works, right? When our families are dealing with the Department of Education, where is it falling through the cracks? Where is it that parents don't understand how to advocate for their kids, right? When our families are dealing with the Department of Health, when they're dealing with health insurance, there's so many issues, and that's what I'm bringing. I'm bringing the understanding from the ground, but also the understanding of how government works and bringing it together. Because listen, I'm gonna just say it like this: it, I've just suffered so much that it's not. I'm not here to play, and I'm not here to. There's nothing like a lobbyist can do to change me from the mindset and the purpose of serving the working class. So as long as it's helping the working class, it's gonna have my support. If the impact is going to be negative on the working class and on our next generations, count me out.
And Naima, you spoke so much right now, man, about community service. And you spoke about laws, state changes, being outside. I know you
Hmm.
for over 20 years. You've been outside. And when we talk about outside, we're talking about the healthy
The
outside.
healthy
And when
outside,
and
yeah.
when we talk about outside and community service and actually serving, you've done a lot of things. I've seen you out here recycling. I've seen you out here in senior citizen homes for
Yes.
more than a decade.
Right.
And you have a beautiful project that I've been able to support and has saved a lot of young ladies
Mm-hmm.
called Project Beauty. Can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about that?
Of course. So the Project Beauty Experience is a girls' leadership program that supports the development of Black and Brown young ladies. We started it in the NYCHA Dykeman houses back in 2014. So we're celebrating 12 years of delivering free personal development programming for girls. And what we do is that we make it fun, right? We include fashion, but at the same time, we're teaching them. We're teaching them about personal hygiene. How do you manage a budget? How do you manage emotional regulation, cyber etiquette, professionalism? We focus on the academic aspect, we focus on the character aspect, and then we focus on the overall, like in the spirit as well. Make sure that they know who they are, make sure that they understand their worth, make sure that they know that they are valuable and it's not others that determine their worth. So we do that kind of work around self image, self knowledge, and then also how do you create a vision for your life and focus on making sure that they understand their personal power as they move forward.
Listen, Project Beauty is such a beautiful project. And for all the young ladies uptown from the Bronx, Dykeman, Uptown, and the people that should be voting for you, um, how does a dream of New
Ah,
York State Senator happen for somebody like you? Because you're teaching these young girls how to dream. But where
uh-huh.
did your dream to be New York State Senate or run for this position come from?
That's fun. I would say that it was a process. It was a development. I know that for sure, ever since I was little, I knew that I was supposed to do something that was very important. That's why I used to keep a diary and I would take notes, oh, the Yugoslavian War, and I would write my thoughts on it and sentiments on it. So I think that it's all very organic and it's been a development. It's been like a life path. To be quite honest, politics for me is a calling. It's connected to my life purpose and why I was brought here in the first place. And so it's not just like, oh, just wake up one day or someone approached me one day and is like, hey, you want to run for this? No, no, it's been a development of learning. Well, what does this position do? How does this work? Also, you have to analyze the politics and the terrain and the territory. It requires strategy. It requires, understanding of, you have to have knowledge of the space that you're in and how things work. So it's been a very long journey of over 10 years. And if you want to be really real, it's been a journey of an entire lifetime.
Absolutely, and that's
Because
what
I
fun.
gotta tell you, like, even the way that and you can actually fact check this with people that I went to school with, like middle school, elementary school, all of that. Ask them how was Naima back then, and they all tell me this makes sense because you were like this back then in fifth grade, fourth grade. It makes sense you're doing this right now.
Since knowing you and since collaborating with you on so many projects uptown and seeing you, if there's one word that I can tie to Naima is leader.
Oh,
You've always been a leader. I'm pretty sure like you were the student government president in kindergarten,
ay, ay, ay.
right? So, now that you're in this space and this is basically your life's mission
Right.
to help all of us, whether it's senior citizens, young teens,
Mm-hmm.
urban youth, and everybody else in between,
Mm-hmm.
why should we care about politics?
Mm. That's a great question. The reason why we should care about politics is because it impacts every single aspect of our lives. There's not one thing that politics doesn't affect. Politics affects music. It affects the quality of water that we drink when we open the water in the sink in the kitchen. Politics affects transportation. Politics affects education. It affects whether you get healthcare and what kind of healthcare coverage you get. And if something happens to this leg, how much all of that is affected by politics. Even our own capacity or the our own right to govern our bodies and to decide what we do with our bodies, all of that is politics.
Awesome. So with politics being so important in the world that we live in today, right? Rules, regulation, police,
Mm-hmm.
policies,
Mm-hmm.
right? What are some policies that you support and that you want to push forward?
Well, number one, anything that has to do with supporting the strengthening of the family unit, I support. So, for example, the Family Miranda Rights Act is a bill that would require that families are informed of basically their Bill of Rights when it comes to dealing with ACS, right? And the reason why that's so important is because the data shows, and anecdotally we understand this, that there is a concentration and an emphasis of splitting Black and Brown families at a higher rate than our white brother and sister counterparts, right? And so that is very detrimental to the family unit because there's a lot of cultural incompetence in the decision making when it comes to when they take a child out of their home, when they're separating families. And so we have a lot of culturally incompetent people in positions of power making decisions that affect our families. And so, I'm going to be more aggressive as a senator than the current senator to make sure that we get that passed because our families need to remain together and there needs to be more respect for us. Another thing that I'm going to focus on is, all right, technology. There's a lot of talk around technology, but how can we leverage technology to revitalize our local economies and make sure that we can develop jobs for our kids, our youth, but also for our elderly folks? I keep saying this because not enough people are talking about it. Another area that I'm going to be supportive is in terms of making sure that we have health insurance for all, health coverage for all, because it's really detrimental when people are carrying the weight and the debt of the just of healthcare, like directly when government is able to take care of that at a better level. So those are some of the issues.
So absolutely, like going backwards, technology. We're living in a society right now where information is we're living in a society right now where information is the most accessible thing all over social media and through technology. And technology can be used for the detriment of humanization, or it can be used for the betterment of civilization, right? But something that I want to talk about, that you harped on was the nuclear family
Mm-hmm.
and the black and brown family. And there's a lot of things that I personally believe that are important in a
Mm-hmm.
home. The
Yes.
father is the biggest threat to a home.
Mm.
A father that is not mentally, emotionally aligned can be a threat to his family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, a father who is not home,
Mm.
it's even a bigger threat. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like both parents in the household being present
Mm-hmm.
is very important for the maturity of a child, for the maturity of a family. And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you do a lot of programming, and I've seen you bring Project Beauty to a place where a lot of parents,
Mm-hmm.
father and mothers, come to
Right.
support these women.
Right. Right.
And what do you feel about the nuclear family? Because I know biblically it's
Right.
something that is part
Yes.
of your
Yes.
core
Yes.
values.
Right. So when it comes to the nuclear family, I will make a disclaimer, right? Because we live in a time where things are being redefined, right? Because not everyone subscribes to the same, I guess, worldview that we subscribe to. And so I just want to acknowledge that folks have different understandings of what a nuclear family is. And, I respect each person for how it is that they define it. Now, what we are discussing right now is specifically the family unit that is more of the traditional, right? So, parting from there, I I love that you asked me this question because there's this phrase that it says, family is basically the family is the root, right? And then if you destroy the family, then what happens? It's the child goes to the environment. And if you destroy the environment, then you've created what we are dealing with right now in the hood.
Yes.
Okay. So what has happened is that there has been a very methodical, purposeful, long term agenda using policies, using politics, using laws, using state senators and others to destroy the black and brown family unit because
Absolutely.
they know that a family unit that is united, that is healthy, that is strong it's hard to penetrate and destroy, period.
Absolutely, and I'm somebody who I study finances, I study the economy. This all started happening in the 80s and early 90s, especially where Section 8, public assistance, coupons, welfare were given to families that a father wasn't present.
Ooh, that's definitely connected to the war on drugs and the war on poverty.
Yeah, yeah. So, like there's a lot of warfare that you're dealing with, right? Whether it's
Psychological, legal, everything,
right,
everything.
and in something like this, like I know that you've been taking on a lot of battles.
Hmm.
What would you say has been your biggest battle throughout this whole entire process of you running for New York State Senator of Uptown?
Oh, what would I say is the biggest battle? I mean, I had to overcome hurdles where, for example, the current senator used his connections in the board of elections, used his connections within politics to knock me off the ballot, even though legally I was supposed to be on the ballot. So they didn't even want me to even run. They didn't want my name to show up. They didn't want to have any opposition. They didn't want to have any competition. They just wanted to secure the power and automatically continue on as state senator. And I'm speaking about Robert Jackson. I just have to say that because folks get confused. They don't know which position is which. And so, that was a big battle. We had to take them to court. It also takes away from you focusing on your own campaign because now you're focusing on the legal aspect, right? You're handling the lawyers and all the backlash. I'm standing 10 toes on the fact that I'm here to represent working class families and the interests of the next generation. And I'm okay with that because I need people to understand that, what's known as east of Broadway is dealing with a lot of issues that are going unnoticed, that are going, uncared for on the state level. And I think it's enough. I think enough is enough. And in order for those issues to be brought up, it's going to take someone like me that actually understands them, that actually cares about everyone in the district, right? To actually bring them to the forefront. One of the things that I have brought up that has, ignited a big conversation uptown and all around is the drug injection site. And so I want to be very clear on my stance on that, if that's okay.
Please do, because I
Because
have a
people are
lot.
confused.
Yes,
And so, look, number one, I support the existence of those type of sites to provide, safe space for the people that need it. Because at the end of the day, people that are dealing with addictions are our brothers and sisters.
absolutely.
Doesn't matter their race or whatever. We're all a human fraternal. We're brothers and sisters. That's one of my
I
core
agree.
beliefs.
I agree.
Now, with that said, one thing does not have to impact the other in the sense that we can provide care for the people that need support, that are dealing with that public health crisis. However, what we cannot do, and what I am here to say that we are not going to do, is that we're not going to put an entire public health crisis of the opioid epidemic on the backs of the poor working class in Washington Heights.
Well, listen. This is something that I'm very passionate about, and I can see that you're the passion in you. This is all.
Because this is about equity, Chris.
Yes, it
People think
is.
that it's about not caring about people. No, no, no. It's that the people that live east of Broadway are dealing with an entire flock of side effects. When you put a site like that in an already poor community that's already dealing with the consequences of the war on poverty and war on drugs for decades, and then you're bringing this site that, even though it's helping a population, then it's having an adverse effect on everyone else in the district. And that's why I say that it's not fair, it's not equitable for the folks that are the low poverty folks to be carrying that on their backs. That's not okay.
Listen, let me get in here real quick. Let me talk to you about two things. Number one, equity and equality are not the same thing, and I've been telling you this for as long as I've known
One
you.
more thing, because there's people that are now following me because of this topic. And people that are very angry about this topic. The majority, 98% of the people, agree with me. Just based on, looking at the data and the comments or whatever the case is. 2% maybe don't. But the thing is, I really wonder, how would folks feel? Let's move that site then from east of Broadway. I wonder how folks would feel if that site was moved west of Broadway. If it was put on Overlook Terrace or Bennett Park, or if we put it in Cabrini. Let's put it in Cabrini or Fort Washington. And then you guys let me know if you still want to have the site in Northern Manhattan, or if we should all come together. I want to bring together east of Broadway and west of Broadway. Let's get that safe site to Orange County. As state senator, I can move for that with your support, with your advocacy. We can make sure that the site is moved to Westchester County, where the majority of the people come from that get the services there.
Listen. Let me get in here.
Go ahead.
Two things. Equity versus equality. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
And I've always told you, my personal perspective in studying finances, the economy, and the government, and the world that we live in, it is very difficult to believe in equality when there's equity involved. Now, number two, I agree 100% with everything that you said about this drug site.
Right.
And the second reason that they put that there is because there's something called gentrification. So now let me talk to you about this.
Okay, explain it to me.
Manhattan, everywhere in the world is going up.
Right.
There's places in the South Bronx, more buildings are going up. But Manhattan is the best borough in the world. And it's where everybody's coming. So now when it comes to financial literacy and when it comes to real estate, what you have to understand is this is how gentrification plays a role. They bring in these opioid sites and dope, crack, cocaine into our neighborhoods because they want to do two things.
What is it, Chris? What is it? What do you want to do?
One, they want to get more of our people addicted on the drugs.
Got it.
Which they do want to support with the clean needles. I support that. Our brothers and sisters. And two, what they want to do is the people that are selling them drugs, they want to put them in jail. My second master's is in public school to prison pipeline. So it's a vicious cycle. The more people that use these drugs, the more people that we get out of apartments. The more people that sell these drugs, our people, the black and brown people, Dominicans, right? They go to jail. So now what happens? Apartments start clearing up.
Hey,
and then
connected to
the
real estate.
other people start moving in.
Okay.
So it's a vicious cycle. It might not seem like that, like to the
Uh-huh.
regular, ordinary human
But
being.
everything is strategic. If you study history, is that these things have all been planned. I mean, yeah, let me not get too deep into but just look at, for
Hold up.
example,
Let's stop that right there because she was about to go insane. So we don't got to put that
yeah,
part
yeah.
because
Because I was about to bring up Project
yeah, I
2026.
already
That has
know.
been 10 years in the
Yeah, yeah.
making.
And when
I
I
don't want
was
to get
and
into
when I
that.
was
Yeah.
running for, I was telling him that one time I was running for state senate, toda la vaina in 2012, and they told me about the YMCA that they were gonna build, and then they built the fine fair big thing on Sherman. So I already knew it was a lot.
Okay, yeah.
So when we're talking about this, Naima,
Mm-hmm.
these are things that have been strategically implemented in our neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
so that the people that are west of Broadway feel a little bit more comfortable moving east of Broadway. But what we have to understand is that the research has already been done. When you're seeing franchises like Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, Chipotle coming into our neighborhood,
Auntie
that means
Anne's.
Auntie Anne's. That means that the research has already been done.
Right.
These corporations, S&P 500 corporate companies,
And they're on
have,
St. Nicholas.
of course, prime
They're east
time
side. They're on
and
the east
Broadway.
side.
What they
Yeah.
have seen is like, okay, this certain population is moving in. Now it is our time to come in and build these franchises in here because they already see the numbers coming. Before,
Okay. I just make sure, let me connect that to commercial real estate and my policy on that once you're done with that.
please
Yeah?
do, because
Okay.
I'm
Let's
all,
go.
I'm a real estate guy
Let's
first.
do it. Let's do
I
it.
love stocks. Before the pandemic, and way before the pandemic, when I was outside in a different capacity.
Okay.
We're talking about 2013, 2014, 2015 La Marina.
Got it.
Dykeman and Washington Heights looked a lot
It was
different.
different. It was different. Yes, sir.
There was a lot of other people that came into our
It was
community,
different. Yeah.
right? And then the pandemic came, and those people moved away from the community. Now that the pandemic is cleared up a little bit, COVID, those people are coming back into the community.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is all a real estate play,
Mm-hmm.
and like now even the way that they go from naming our county Washington Heights to Hudson Heights. This
Right,
is
right, right.
all strategic in the South Bronx. The South Bronx was the number one crack epidemic and the number one in HIV, number one in asthma, number one in drugs, number one in
Right, right.
felonies. It went from South Bronx to the Piano District.
Right, right.
So now, what's your take on commercial real estate?
So basically, my take is as a New York State Senator, one of my focus areas will be regulating commercial rents because the reason why we're losing so many of our small businesses and local mom and pop shops is because they can't afford the rent because they're skyrocketing it. The landlords are skyrocketing the rents. A lot of times I've heard that there's also a lot of extortion in order to even renovate the lease, in order to renew the lease, sorry. And so as a New York State Senator, there is something that we can do. We can actually propose a bill, help to make sure that it's a law so that we can regulate the rents. And what I'm proposing is that we provide incentives to the landlords that if they do rent out to what we determine to be local business owners, then they would get, let's say, a tax. They're going to get a tax incentive, but only if they're proving that they're renting it out to the local mom and pop shops, not necessarily the franchises that want to come in. That's one way that we can preserve our local businesses uptown.
I love that because like back
And the current senator, I just want to say this, the current senator, he proposed a bill 6 years ago, and he continues to propose the same bill 6 years consecutively, and nothing has moved forward. He has not, let's say, pushed forth to create a coalition and really harp on this and stay on this and make it a core issue, even though it is one of the main issues in this district. And this is what I'm saying. I'm grateful. Thank you, Senator, for what he has done and his legacy. But right now, we need someone that's going to be a little more alert and awake at the wheels and understand what are the issues right now and advocate for it.
Yeah, because look, listen, I'm gonna be honest. Like back to that equity and equality thing. Bacon, egg, and cheeses are going up. Eggs are going up.
Man.
Toilet paper, hand sanitizer is going up. So all these products are going up, but the pay and work and the salaries are not going up. So how is it that a Dominican that's been here since 1980, maybe has a college degree like you and us, maybe does not have a college degree, can't afford to live in these places, right?
Right, right.
So it's like kind of like they're pushing us out on purpose.
and
So
there's-
that's why the landlord incentive that you're proposing right now.
Yes.
Listen, I'm in real estate. Tax deductions is exactly what landlords
Going
want.
to incentivize them.
Yeah, so
Because you can either, you know, people have the approach of you have either the carrot or the stick.
Yes.
Right now, the approach that has been used is the stick. And what a lot of them have been doing is leaving their storefronts vacant.
Yeah. Listen, ever since the pandemic, a lot of the top shops are online, like with Uber Eats taking over and all these other apps and foods that are at your
Mm-hmm.
fingertips. There's no
Mm-hmm.
need for a storefront.
Mm-hmm.
But like we've lost that. We've
Mm-hmm.
lost the mom and pop shops. We've lost grandma's restaurant. We've lost the
Mm-hmm.
tire shop that we need to fix because the
Mm-hmm.
potholes aren't getting fixed and
Right,
stuff like
right,
that.
right.
So it's like, like I stand with you because
Mm-hmm.
you're a lady. You're family to me.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything that you've done. I support your family since day
Mm-hmm.
one. Your sister's
Mm-hmm.
my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents are my parents.
Mm-hmm.
No, Kel, your husband is
Likewise.
my brother.
Likewise. Yes.
And right now on Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
June 23rd,
June 23rd.
is the last day to vote.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes, it
have
is.
early voting,
Yes.
which you can go and you can vote right now.
Correct.
But can you tell people step by step how is it that they can go vote for Naima Silver to make a change uptown?
Of course. So if you are already registered to vote, then basically what you need to do is figure out where is your poll site, like where are you supposed to vote. You can literally Google something called NYC poll site locator. And then you put your address and it's going to let you know, oh yeah, you have to go to IS 52. That's where you vote, for example. And so then when you show up at IS 52, you let them know I'm here to vote, and then they're going to ask you, well, what's your address? When they know your address, they're going to let you know, okay, you're at table number 5. Then when you go to table number 5, they're going to give you a ballot. Before they give you the ballot, they're going to confirm your name, and you just need to sign that it's you and that you received it. You take your ballot, you go to the voting booth, and then you literally look for my name and you put a little circle on the name. Circle in the bubble, like the Scantrons from back in the day. Bubble it in. Boop, boop, boop. That's it. Go to the machine, put it inside, you vote it.
All right, so with your
It takes
hand.
5 minutes. Like literally it takes 5 minutes to vote.
All right,
Let's say 10. If you walk really slow, 15 minutes.
all right, with your hand, I
Uh-huh.
want you to look at this camera right here.
Okay.
Name all the towns, neighborhoods in Manhattan in the Bronx
Okay.
that your name is going to be on that ballot.
Tato. Ready? Fordham Road, University, Kingsbridge, Sedgwick, Aqueduct, Van Cortlandt Park South, Tamo Dykeman, Washington Heights, Inwood, Marble Hill. Did I mention Jerome already?
No,
Jerome
11, that's
Avenue.
11.
Yeah, it's a really big district. It also covers, it starts on West 155th Street in Uptown. So West 155th Street, and then it goes north until it gets to the Bronx. It crosses over in the Bronx, Marble Hill, Kingsbridge. It goes almost towards Riverdale, and then it crosses over to the other part of the Bronx. That's where you have Bailey Avenue. That's where you have Lehman College. That's where you have Northwest Bronx. All the way down until you get down to like Aqueduct, covers Heath Avenue, Bailey. Yo creo que ya yo lo dije. I think I got it. I think those are I got it, right?
Yeah, so there's
Morris
like,
Heights also covers as well.
so if you're registered, you got the step by step. We shouted out your community. Now, if you are not registered to vote,
Mm-hmm.
where do you go to register so that Tuesday, the absolute latest,
Mm-hmm.
you're there?
Well, there's two places. There's two ways to register to vote. You can register online through the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles website, and then you can also register on paper. The only thing is, at this point, if you register on paper, you have to make sure that the Board of Elections gets your voter registration immediately. Might have to just go drop it off in person by Monday.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, this is a powerful episode. We got powerful Naima here. And listen, if you want change, you have to vote for change. I'm somebody who I've always believed that if you want to support Uptown, you have to own Uptown.
Mm.
Unfortunately, that's not realistic for everybody to own a building Uptown or to own an apartment Uptown.
If only we came together collectively, we could do that.
Like we like
It takes us, and this is why Chris and I, one of the reasons why we have connected is because Chris has that understanding of real estate and finances. I have the understanding when it comes to the politics, the legal, the policies, right? The organizing, and don't give up on that, because as a New York State senator, one of the things that I have seen is that we need our leaders to push more towards the folks that are in buildings that they can become the owners collectively and it can transform into co-ops. We need to push that forward. And that requires us putting pressure on the state
Yeah.
agencies, putting pressure on all stakeholders, because there's so many people in Washington Heights that the folks that live there, they are organized, they take care of themselves, they take care of the building, but they don't have ownership of the building yet because there hasn't been a push.
And listen, and in the last 7 years, I've geeked out on finances and real estate, syndications,
Mm-hmm.
funds of funds. And you and I have sat down numerous times
Mm-hmm.
where we're putting a plan together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that difficult.
Mhm.
And you don't even really need money to do it. You
Right.
just need the mindset. And that's why the name of the show is Fundamental Works. Because
Right.
the fundamentals work if you work the fundamentals.
Correct.
Once again, everybody get out there to those polls on Tuesday. Make sure you vote for Naima. See ya.